The purpose of any dynamic routing protocol is to inject routes into the routing table. And so if we want to look at the routing table, we do show IP route. And if we want to just look at one routing source's information inside of the routing table, we tack on the name of that routing source. So you could do EIGRP or connected or static. Here we are doing OSPF. We can see that we have some routing information. O designates OSPF. That's an uppercase O. IA says inter area. More on that later. Then we have the prefix 10210 with a 24-bit mask. So that's the subnet that we've learned about. 110, what is that? What is the 110? You need to be able to interpret what that 110 is. What is that? And then what is the 65? We should know that. We should know that. So the 110 is the administrative distance. The 65 is what? What do we call that in OSPF terminology? That is the feasible distance, which is just the metric. Then we have the next hop IP address. That's the interface or the IP address on the fast Ethernet network that we would ARP for in order to send frames towards the next hop IP address. We see the uptime of the route. We see the exit interface we will take. Now let's take a closer look at the IA there. What is that? Well, we have a legend inside of the show IP route output. That legend shows us the OSPF routing types, which we can see here. O, IA, N1, N2, E1, and E2. Let's talk about a few key ones to start off with. Namely, the first two, in fact. We're not going to worry about NSSA or the external route types. Let's just worry about the first two, the core two. We see O, IA, and then just a plain vanilla O. Now, what is the difference here? What does it mean if we see just O? Well, that means intra area. How do we interpret that? That means the route is inside of the local, let's say a little differently. The route is inside of an area this router is attached to, and parenthetical. The route is inside of an area that this router is connected to. Once we understand that, we have to understand what inter area means. Inter area means the route is in an area this router isn't connected to. Be able to read that. Okay, so if it has an O, that happens to be in an area that I am connected up to. If it's OIA, that is outside of my local area, and that means I have to forward up to an ABR, get connected or send that traffic through the backbone. All traffic that we're sending between different areas is going to have to go through the backbone area. So that is how we interpret the basic OSPF routing entries that we would find in a multi-area OSPF autonomous system.